Most of your life, you may have been told that you feel things too deeply, that you react too strongly, that you need thicker skin. Maybe you learned to apologize for crying. Maybe you started hiding it. But what if the very thing you were told to suppress is actually one of your greatest strengths?
Some people don't just experience life, they absorb it. They walk into a room and instantly sense the tension. They notice the subtle shift in someone's voice. They pick up on what isn't being said. When others brush off a harsh comment, they carry it for hours. When others see a sunset, they feel something almost spiritual. That intensity isn't weakness, it's heightened perception. Your brain is constantly scanning. While most people filter out background noise, both literal and emotional, you take it in. The hum of the fan, the flicker of someone's expression, the slight change in energy during a conversation. It can be overwhelming, but it also means you see details others miss. You detect patterns. You understand nuance. You sense truth beneath surface-level words.
When someone you care about is hurting, you don't just recognize it intellectually, you feel it. Your body reacts. Your chest tightens, your mood shifts. It's as if your nervous system temporarily mirrors theirs. That deep empathy can be exhausting, but it also makes you incredibly compassionate. People feel safe around you because you don't just listen, you understand. You might also notice that you pause before responding. In conversations, you think carefully. After events, you replay them in your mind. You analyze what was said, what it meant, what could happen next. Sometimes you judge yourself for overthinking, but what's really happening is depth. Your mind is connecting past experiences, predicting outcomes, weighing consequences. That isn't slowness, that's thoroughness. Of course, there is a cost. When you take in so much information, your system reaches capacity faster. Loud environments drain you. Conflict lingers. Too many demands at once can make you want to retreat. That retreat isn't drama, it's regulation. Just like a phone that needs charging after heavy use, your nervous system needs recovery after intense input.
The problem isn't that you feel too much. The problem is that the world often rewards speed, toughness, and emotional detachment. In loud spaces, subtlety goes unnoticed. In aggressive environments, sensitivity can feel like a disadvantage. But imagine a world where no one noticed shifts in mood, no one sensed danger early, no one felt moved by art or injustice. Something essential would be missing. Throughout history, groups needed different kinds of minds. Some charged ahead, others paused and assessed. Some fought, others advised. The ones who sensed risk before it was obvious were often the ones who kept everyone safe. The ones who deeply understood emotions were the ones who maintained harmony. Sensitivity wasn't a flaw, it was balance. You may have spent years trying to harden yourself, telling yourself not to care, forcing yourself to stay in environments that constantly overwhelm you, comparing yourself to people who seem unaffected by everything. But different nervous systems thrive under different conditions. Some people can grow anywhere. Others flourish when the environment is right. When you're supported, respected, and given space to recharge, you don't just cope, you excel. Your emotional depth allows you to create meaning. It fuels creativity, it strengthens relationships, it makes you thoughtful in decisions and loyal in connections. It pushes you to stand up for what feels wrong and to protect what feels precious. But strength without boundaries turns into burnout. If you feel deeply, you must protect your energy deeply. That means stepping away when you're overloaded, choosing environments carefully, being selective about who has access to your emotional world. Sensitivity doesn't mean you absorb everything without limits. It means you learn to manage what you let in. And listen to me carefully here. You were never meant to carry the weight of every storm alone. Even the strongest river carves its path slowly through stone. Even the tallest tree bends when the wind is fierce. Your sensitivity is like that river, like that tree. It is powerful, but it must move with wisdom. When you ignore your limits, you do not become stronger. You become depleted. So you must learn the sacred art of stepping back, of sitting in silence without guilt, of saying no without explanation, of choosing peace over performance. When you honor your rhythm instead of fighting it, something changes inside you. You begin to trust yourself yourself. You begin to see that your tears are not signs of collapse, but signs of connection. The next time someone calls you too sensitive, pause before accepting that label as criticism. Consider the possibility that you simply experience life at a richer emotional frequency. You notice subtleties others overlook. You care in ways others can't. You process deeply instead of reacting impulsively. Crying easily doesn't mean you're fragile. It means your emotional system is responsive. And responsiveness is not weakness, it's awareness. In a world that often numbs itself, the ability to feel fully is rare. And rare does not mean defective. You are not broken. You are perceptive. You are not traumatic. You are attuned. And when you learn to honor that instead of fight it, what once felt like a burden becomes one of the most powerful tools you possess. And there's something else you need to understand. Your sensitivity is not random. It is not an accident of personality. It is the way your nervous system learned to survive. Somewhere in your life, maybe early, maybe quietly, you learned to read the room. You learned that safety depended on awareness. You learned to watch faces, to measure tone, to anticipate shifts before they happened. That skill stayed with you. What once protected you now shapes you. It makes you perceptive. It makes you cautious. It makes you deeply aware of emotional currents that others walk through blindly. But here is where your growth begins. Awareness without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice. Empathy without limits becomes self-neglect. If you constantly prioritize everyone else's emotions, you slowly disappear from your own life. And I don't want that for you. You are allowed to feel deeply, but you are also allowed to choose where your energy goes. Not every conflict deserves your nervous system. Not every person deserves your emotional labor. Not every environment deserves your presence. There is strength in stepping back. There is power in silence. There is wisdom in saying, "This is too much for me," without shame. When you stop fighting your sensitivity, something beautiful happens. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You begin seeing yourself as refined. Just like finely tuned instruments detect sounds that others cannot hear, your emotional system detects frequencies others overlook. But even a finely tuned instrument must be handled carefully. You need rest. You need stillness. You need spaces where you do not have to scan, analyze, or anticipate. When you give yourself those spaces, your clarity sharpens instead of dulls. And listen, the world may never fully understand you. It may continue to praise toughness over tenderness. It may continue to reward speed over depth. But depth changes lives. Depth builds trust. Depth creates art, connection, and meaning. The people who feel deeply are often the ones who see clearly, and the ones who see clearly are the ones who quietly shape the world. So do not shrink yourself to fit environments that were never designed for your nervous system. Do not train yourself to feel less just to be easier for others. Instead, learn to stand steady in who you are. You are not too much. You are not overly emotional. You are not weak. You are aware. And awareness, when guided with wisdom, becomes one of the rarest forms of strength.